Hello, and welcome to Andy's Reviews. Today I'm going to be reviewing Adventureland with Jesse Eisenberg and the star of Twilight, Kristen Stewart. Okay, first thing to say about this film is it's set during the 1980s, and the storyline is that a young boy, played by Jesse Eisenberg, is going to go off to college in New York, and then, before that, he's going to go to Europe with his friends, generally drink, be promiscuous, and have fun, as we all like to do. So once that falls through, because his dad loses his job or his job changes, he has to go back home to where he originally lived with his parents to work at the fairground, which is called Adventureland. Now, according to the director of the film, this film is semi-autobiographical in terms of he actually worked at a fairground similar or called Adventureland, in which he went through more of the same thing that the Jesse Eisenberg character goes through in this film. Okay, so that's the basic premise of the film. That's the way it's set up. Now, to be fair, I'll say this now, Adventureland is my favourite romantic film. It's the all-time great of romantic films. The thing I love about this film is that it has a sensibility that is complex but seems simplistic at the time that you're watching it. But then once you're finished, you come away and you're so engrossed with the characters, engrossed with the performances, that it's just a wonderful film. Now, the thing I was shocked about is that this is from the Jude Apatow stable of films in terms of the production, and as we know, Jude Apatow has produced awful films like Superbad and all of those gross out, ridiculously bad comedies that seem to make millions at the box office year in, year out. Okay, so just to talk a bit about the performances, what stood out for me in this film was the acting performance from Kristen Stewart. Now, as most people know of Kristen Stewart, she's from the Twilight saga, which we know is a massive hit worldwide, but instead of navel-gazing in terms of going, "Oh, Edward, I love you, no I don't, I want to sleep with you," and all of that stupidity, the kind of melodramatic, emo, goth thing that happens in Twilight, which is fine for Twilight, but in this film, Kristen Stewart brings a grounded, romantic, funny, and self-depreciating performance that is so understated that it's beautiful. The relationship that she has with Eisenberg in the film is perfectly conveyed, and it just brings, I hate to say it, but brings warmth and fun to my heart. So there you go. I think absolutely fantastic. And I think the wonderful thing about this film was, although the characters are all young, as an adult, you see similarities in terms of relationship development, and in terms of dating, and in terms of interaction with your peers and everything like that, that could be seen as being universal for a certain generation. Now, that is key to the reason that I like this film. It seems to go against the romantic comedies that we see today, starring Gerard Butler, and, say, the recent Valentine's Day, in which you have characters that are so nihilistically awful that you don't believe in them for a second, and when they finally end up at the end of the movie and they get the girl or they lose the girl, nobody actually cares because these characters are so atrociously scripted and horrible that you probably want to shoot them at the end of the film rather than embracing what they've been through in the film in terms of their romantic relationships. So it kind of goes against the mainstream of, say, romantic films like The Holiday and even 500 Days of Summer, which I liked, but still was framed with this kind of kooky, kind of just stupidity that isn't real life. But Adventureland seems to embrace all of these things while still being funny and idealistically sound. So I think it's a fantastic movie. Just to make it a bit more complex, there's a scene where Jesse Eisenberg is dating another girl that isn't Kristen Stewart, and they kind of have this two-way between them, in which they're describing male-female gender relationships and the kind of frozen mainstream view of what a woman should be and what a man should be. And the key thing is with the Eisenberg character that he's kind of intelligent, he's kind of a bit of a nerd, but he's more of an everyman than these kind of Jude Law successful types who work as a journalist and, oh my god, I need to find the one types, when they just kind of drift along nicely in Adventureland, but by the end of the film, you realise it wasn't a drift. It was probably the most uplifting experience you'll ever have sat in front of a film. Last point to make is I loved the fact that it was set during the 80s, but it wasn't kind of a mimic of The Breakfast Club or the Brat Pack films or anything like that. It was set during the 80s, but it still had a context that was modern. So it's not a pastiche of old 80s films. It is a film that has standalone brilliance on its own. So yes, final thing, picture quality superb, special features good. Markedly to say this could be one of Miramax's last movies, simply because the company is about to die. So if you can buy it, you'll probably be able to get it cheap, simply because it didn't make money, so you'll probably be able to find it in a bargain basement somewhere. But Adventureland, probably the best film I've seen in the past 3 months, and I've seen a lot of films in the past 3 months. Loved it. Beautiful film. Beautiful. That's all I'm going to say. So, but if you want rubbish, go and see Valentine's Day, The Holiday, or anything starring Gerard Butler. Okay, thank you. Cheers.